Hello and welcome to Mastering Microsoft Excel video series. This is video number 47. In this video, we are going to talk about very interesting formula, sum product. Without much ado, let's get into the Excel screen and let's see how this formula can simplify many complicated requirements in Excel. So this is the Excel file we are using for this particular video. So let me first show you the basic use of sum product. Basically, the basic use of sum product is nothing but totaling the value. So totaling the product of the value. So when I say sum product of this value, comma, this value, that means what it is going to do is 15,000 into 150 plus 8,000 into 50 plus 2,500 into 250 plus that's what it's going to do. So the final result what you're seeing here is literally nothing but the sum of the product of these values. So basically if you see here, these two answers are exactly the same. So when I total these values, and that's going to be the same. So sum product is basically meant for summing up the product of each item of the arrays. Now summing the product of each items in the array, so that is the basic usage, but I'm going to take the sum product to perform complicated counting requirements, complicated totaling requirements, which your COUNTIFS and SUMIFS cannot do it. And those are the places where I'm going to take the help of the sum product to perform this operation. So let me give you some example here. See, I want to know how many transactions belong to east and west. So I can't use the COUNTIFS formula here because the COUNTIFS cannot perform the counting based on OR logic. It can do only AND logic, even if I want to show you that. So if you see here, COUNTIFS, so the first range is this, and the criteria is, let's say, east. And the second range is also the same, comma, the second criteria. So ideally what I need to get right now is excluding the central. It should give me the count of it. So let's see what I'm going to get as an answer now. You can see here we are getting 0. That means it is not performing the counting as expected. Ideally, what is the logic we are expecting the COUNTIFS to do here is take into count when you either see the word east or west in the selected range. That is not possible using the COUNTIFS. So how I can do this with the sum product? Let me show you. Equal to sum product. So the first array is this one. And what I want to check here in this array, check for the east. So that's my first condition. Star means AND, but we don't need AND logic here. We need OR logic. So I'm going to use plus. So asterisk or star is used when you want to follow AND logic. Plus is used when you want to follow the OR logic. So here we need OR logic. So open bracket. The next condition is this should be equal to west. So when I close the braces, when I hit enter, look at the answer, we're getting 5. So which is basically this and this, which is 5. Yeah, the COUNTIFS, which it was not able to handle it, the sum product handle it very easily. So what's happening behind the scene, if you literally see, let me press the F9 to show you on each of these area. So wherever the condition is met, it is giving true. Wherever the condition is not met, it is giving you false behind the scene. So the true is 1 and the false is 0. You have the plus sign, so it's adding the ones and zeros, and the final result is given to you as an answer. Okay, so if you have used the star operator, then it will do the multiplication between the true and false. Basically, that's what is happening behind the scene. Now that's for the counting. Let's say, can I do a total? So that means I want to calculate the total quantities sold for the east and west. So which your SUMIFS cannot do it, because again SUMIFS cannot handle the OR logic. It can handle only the AND logic. So probably if I have such a requirement, I have to write one SUMIF for the east and one SUMIF for the west. I have to write independently, which is two different SUMIF formula. I have to add it together. But instead, using the sum product, can I do that? I want to show you right now. So let's go ahead and do sum product. So the first condition is on this range. I want to check for east plus, okay, because I want to check OR logic here, and the same range I want to check for west. Because I've used the plus sign, the true and false are going to get added, the ones and zeros are going to get added, comma. Now I'm gonna, once the condition is met, and that needs to take the relevant values from where, from which column, from the unit sold. So I'm going to select the unit sold. So when I close the braces, when I hit enter, what I'm looking at is 550, which is nothing but except the central transaction, rest is all added. So which is this and this too. If you look at the bottom, it is 550, which is working perfectly. So instead of writing two SUMIF formula, we have achieved it by using a simple sum product to make it happen. Now let's take this further to the worst extreme case, or the complicated one, before we finish this video. Can I involve 3 or more columns or 4 columns into this? Absolutely yes. So far we have been doing with 1 column or 2 columns, but can I do 4 more? Absolutely. See here, let's say I want to calculate the total units sold for Jones and Smith where the status is closed. Let me repeat it. I want to calculate the total units sold, okay, for Jones and Smith only for the closed status. So I have 2 columns to check for the condition and a column to be added. So, but remember, even if it is Smith, it has to be closed. Jones means it has to be closed. So we have a and, or, and then summation, all these together. So let's go ahead and write this formula. Equal to sum product. I'm going to start off with the OR logic first. So look at the brackets I'm using. So here I want to look for Smith plus, on the same array I want to look for Jones. So now with this, my OR logic is over. So my OR logic is kept in one particular category. Asterisk. So AND logic comes into play. And what's the AND logic? The mandatory criteria when it is either Smith or Jones, what should be the status should be equal to closed. So that's my mandatory condition, which is AND logic. Okay, now if it is, the column to be added is should be in separate braces, which is this one. So I close the braces. When I hit enter, it says 460. So that means this, this, this. So if you see here, 250 plus 150 plus 250, which is 400, 400 plus 60 is 460. So what we got here is this one. So let me show the formula, what we have written. Probably I can cut here and put it at the bottom so you guys can see completely. So look at it. So my OR logic kept in separate braces, my AND logic kept in separate braces, and the formula, the value to be added, is kept in separate braces. And remember, all these are working behind the scene because of this true and false and your plus sign and the asterisk sign, which is doing that magic. So sum product is one which you should think about when you need OR logic in your summing or in your counting or in your averaging. Definitely you can go for some product which simplifies the work, but you do have a separate category of formula called database functions like d sum, d get, d average, d max, d count, but that requires a criteria range to be built and to be used. But whereas in some product you don't even have to do that, it's already taken care automatically. If you're using a older version of the Excel, then probably you need to use Control Shift and Enter in some of the places where you write the sum product to make it to work. All right. So with this, I hope you guys understood the power of the sum product in the complicated areas of the requirement. We'll meet again with another interesting input in the Microsoft Excel world. Until then, take care of yourself. Signing off, Hariharan.